I swore to myself I wouldn't do foundation and complete makeup, but a little tired after those two song and dance videos to go change. And it's been a very busy, summer, spring, and summer. So I would have to say that, and besides, these ideas haven't been requested of me, but I think that it would be right to do this to all these other people who may want it, says the feedback some from people who are connected to them. Yeah. So in the same company and that sort of thing. We, Catherine and I began together in Hygiene Corporation in Ottawa. And Catherine has an uphill battle getting back into science. Sorry, she has a PhD in chemistry, getting back into chemistry because she worked for Stephen Harper's government for almost 10 years. Apparently, and I think that she said this when we spoke, I called her up out of the blue sometime in 2014 or 2015. Yeah, before Justin Trudeau came into power, and the outgoing, Stephen Harper was still prime minister, and the telephone line was listed under her name, and apparently her boss, and I like to think of this as she married her supervisor at work. I mean, obviously a social sciences graduate, as my son is. Maybe he has a master's and even more, or I have no idea. That I didn't probe so much. Children she has a boy and a girl, and um, I think that the man fell in love with a pair of blue eyes. Yeah, blonde, yeah, golden hair, and the classic white as we imagined back in Bangalore. But we loved the dark-haired white, and we used to rave about these Middle Easterns. And anyways, this is not a request to talk of me, so I'm not strictly professional. Doing a few asides, but I had to just say, what sources, because people just think I'm making up stuff and that sort of thing. So there you go. And I'm bringing, and I'll begin. All right, I'll begin. And I'd just like to say this is a lucky Victoria's Secret dress because I'm doing a technical talk and a literary talk along with two song and dance videos. This is there's a twin for this. For some reason, the twin is a little, stubborn. So I'll have to, do some of my own designing for it. So it's less stubborn. It's pliable to my expert touch, so to speak. Yeah. Doesn't kind of come off and easily. All right, technical talk beginning. Serious. A couple of seconds. How would you design an artificial intelligence software for making proteins? You see, some of the proteins, as I've been told through a source, and I pointed this out in a talk, can be drugs of choice, and I never thought of this. Ibuprofen is a chemical compound, the Advil and Motrin and everything, and Tylenol is an analgesic. And this could be an interesting idea as to what these compounds actually. But I guess this is also work for, money for the companies and pharmaceutical companies, and they won't come out with exactly the same compound. They're going to keep some of it a bit of a secret. But the equivalent of FDA in Canada would require them to reveal all. But they have their own tests, etc. But I say, rather than artificial intelligence, for I have no idea how to do artificial intelligence. I've never taken a course in artificial intelligence. I have a C programming certificate from continuing engineering education, dating back to the early days of our time in Toronto, spring semester 1994. I was waiting to get into ChemEng that fall. So a C program for an online monitoring unit. I have actually no clues. This is an assignment for all those out there, the IGEN Corporation R&D and engineering unit, and sincere students, researchers, and then my married friends from my graduate school days and work days, Peter, Hamid, and Lawrence. They're all married with children, their wives and children, and that they're doing very well. You can see them on your on your LinkedIn website, Peter, Hamid, and Lawrence, and some of them are in process control, and hence. And allow and I am bringing this up because you need some process control for the online monitoring unit. Yeah, so that's the hint I'm giving, and I would like to say you can obtain, all of you, and the other person is this is a cousin, an older cousin, male cousin, whom I've never seen. His uncle was quite the engineer, his older uncle, and his own father had dismissed me as a bit of a blackhead bimbo, albeit with a chemical engineering degree. He had spoken highly. They had a feud, family feud. The two brothers lived in rambling mansions next door to each other, wouldn't talk. Prime neighborhood in Bangalore, India. And apparently, through a source tells me, the older uncle, who was a chemical engineer, whom I consulted a little, and for my undergraduate thesis, had but he was a little. He said I had to do it on my own. He didn't really help me a lot. That's the way of the old school, and that should continue, because students have to learn themselves rather than be pointed out in the right direction. They have to learn. So I worked hard and with moral support from my friends, from my project mates. Anyways, he has left apparently a few of his engineering books for me. How I would value this, right? I mean, it's such a thoughtful gift. In his last will, he's left me a few engineering gifts. So yeah, it's such a heartwarming tale. And this man, Dr. Shankar Shastri, who took my call once, he was the dean of UC Berkeley, dean in the UC of Berkeley. He's an electrical engineer. He took my call and he spoke to me. I was trying to sell my papers. He said, as a dean, it would not look nice. Well, it would be, well, what's the right term? It would be nepotism, I guess, because I'm sort of related. But I've never seen him. I've seen him. He doesn't know me, I think, unless he's seen one of my YouTube web pages or something since then. Yeah, this was way back in 2010, I think, that I called him up, or 2009, I think. Yeah, and this man has had the audacity to get himself a Young American Scientist Award. And, I would like to look at that research and see if I can do something. But it's an electrical engineering idea. So it's just a thought, just out of curiosity, see what it involves. And I would just like to say, before I give the next thought, because I have the fine R&D and engineering department in IGEN Corporation, Ottawa, with cutting edge technology. And I will say this for the CEO, Brian Foodie. He was one of the first ones to envision clean air with his bioethanol making process in biotechnology. Remember, the Kyoto Protocol of 1997 had brought with it a heightened awareness of global warming. And I went and worked for IGEN Corporation in 2002. And yeah, so this is all for them, for all those out there. Look up the video. I'm going to just submit it and look. I'm going to give it to Mr. Foodie and Professor Allen, and I guess I hope Professor Shastri is emeritus. Yeah, Professor Emeritus and Professor Emeritus. And so I have one on online monitoring unit planned for a beer making process. This whole process, program, C program, and process. Little tip. I'll give you this tip too. The book on mass transfer by Sherwood. Right, there's the tip. It is with Professor Allen, and who has passed on all my submitted collection for the past 4 years. Some of it is on Facebook and LinkedIn to, to John Wiley Canada, whom I contacted, and including him in the email. And they asked me, and so there it is. And he's recommended me for a book. It's all original material. And I have research ideas in there as well, and a nice paycheck. Maybe I have no idea how much, but publication costs they will see, and you can ask Professor Allen, but I would rather you read the book. All right, and get this. So those are the clues. Those are plenty of clues. All right, I've actually given you my source of reference. It might click, but you don't have a C programming course. But Dr. Shastri would find it quite easy. This is to make proteins by sequential reaction. I mean, one protein plus enzyme. I'm again giving you clues, ligase. And so another protein, and then you keep adding. An online monitoring unit, it will be very fast. Actually, manual unit is very slow. Artificial intelligence is really good, but things could get out of hand. I mean, remember all these movies, horror movies, where they start thinking on their own and start go out to destroy people. So that's the scary part with these robots and etc. And an experimental process, this is for Hammett, that speeds up the protein making process. You would think 150 linkages could be done with CSTRs in series or parallel connections. But it's hard, 150 linkages, you could connect 10 CSTRs and enzymatic process. Actually, you could do it within a day, I have found out soluble enzyme is very, very quick. Very quick. Product inhibition sets in very soon. Even my supervisor had no idea. So we had the reaction. We had, relatively poor conversion of the order of 80%, 70%. And that's and I think degradation of phenol, the maximal I got was 45% or something. And he had no idea. So our first point, we would take 15 minutes into the process, which was not smart at all. But then we were working with immobilized enzyme. Immobilized enzyme may be a little slow. All right, it may have to reach steady state. The process may take some time. But with soluble enzyme, it's bang. It goes bang into the reaction. So you should have enough stirring and that sort of thing. Those are all tips. Giving you a lot of tips here to all you students. Students, I hear YouTube tells me I'm popular among students. So a lot of tips here. And anyways, and so that's a thought. So how would you actually link up, etc.? And you could make artificial DNA this way. DNA bases are available in the market. Disulfide bridges, well, disulfides could be available, or you could make disulfide bridges, combine two sulfur molecules, and you need a phosphate backbone for a DNA and water molecules. If you get all this figured out, you are in pretty good shape to get artificial DNA in. The Gattaca could come true. All right. Remember that old 1997 movie, Kyoto Protocol, came then. All right. I had finished my Master of Engineering degree then and found it fascinating. The ad in Toronto Star was simply amazing for the movie. It said, would you like your child to have the simply supremely gifted characteristics of Michael Jordan, of Albert Einstein, the brain of Albert Einstein? And that's the magical artificial DNA everybody wants. But hard work, environmental factors get you there. I'm smarter than I was. But my money-making capabilities, I'm never going to make as much money as I made then. That's for sure. All right. So here we go. I thought I would have my family, my sister, my mother's an invalid. I have my older sister, and before her also comes my brother and older brother, and he and his wife and my sister visit, and I pay 50%, but now and that's the whole deal is off. Never going to make so much money. Yeah, and so at the least I can bring 50% of the way to Mumbai or Mysore, close by Bangalore to Mysore. Stay cheap. They curse you behind your back, but they're not going to quite say it. They're going to be polite and say, "How nice of you." But I pay full cost for Mysore. Anyways, all right. Thank you. Signing off. Gayatri Visitaram.